Good afternoon. It is now 2 o'clock and I am going to call the board workshop for the 2021 golf fees. This is a 2 o'clock meeting in the Saguaro room. This is where we will be presented by management the golf rates for 2021. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our treasurer, Frank Gould.
Good afternoon. Very quickly, today's gathering is a single focused one. It is the presentation of the recommended golf fees for the 2021. And with that, I'll ask Steve Nolan to continue the session.
Well, thank you. First, I want to thank Desmond and Greg for their hard work, Scott Anderson and Bill Todd for working with Desmond and Greg on this very difficult budget. And the difficulty comes in with COVID-19 impacting us most likely in a negative way in our golf revenue. We've discussed it before. We could lose as many or more than 100 golf annuals this year due to COVID-19. And that's from members not coming back from last year. So with that, I'll let Desmond and Greg take it from here.
Would you like me to step up to the podium?
Yeah.
If you'd like to.
I'd love to. Any of these microphones working fine, Greg?
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Steve for acknowledging Greg and our staff. Our assistants and professionals have been super cool with everything that's been going on through the whole of the summer. So again, I'd like to thank them. But I'm actually here to go over the proposed fees for 2020 to 21. So I'll just get right to it. I'll start with the Cottonwood Palo Verde combination. Is a proposed price for that membership of $1,965. This is for phase 2 homeowners only. This will include range membership and an increase of 2% on that annual membership from last year. Moving directly on to the PV only. Phase 2 homeowners. It's going to be $1,400. That's with a 2% increase. And it will be the same as last season if any of the Palo Verde only members from phase 1, 2, or 3 will be able to purchase the optional membership of the range on purchase of their annual membership. Cottonwood Lady Niners will be going up to $600. We had originally for that we had an introductory fee. That introductory fee is now expired, so they play 29 times each season at $5, a $1,305 total, and we charge the Lady Niners $600. Cottonwood and Palo Verde combination membership, phase 1 and 3, Oakwood and Ironwood, and the Country Club will be $2,165, which includes the range membership and again the 2% increase on the actual membership. Palo Verde only for phase 1 and 3 will be $1,600. And as I mentioned before, with the phase 2 homeowners, they will be able to pay the $50 and have the optional full range membership included when they buy their annual membership, if they so wish. We did have a 25 play card option for phase 1 and 3 homeowners, which is now this season will not be available, so that's been cancelled. From now, we had 5 people that took advantage of that 25 play card. I know for a fact that 3 of them are Canadian, so which I'm not saying they won't be here, but that's one of the options. It's been 5 years since we raised the daily green fee for Cottonwood, and I think that's the sort of range that I was working on every 5 years to re-look at what the green fees are for Cottonwood, and I know that the green fees for the local courses have gone up. So we will be raising the green fee for Cottonwood to non-annuals and guests of annuals to $75, $60, and $45 according to whatever time they're going to be playing. So when we do raise the daily green fees for residents and non-annuals, it directly affects the play cards that we sell from Cottonwood. So we do have a 25 play card that we sell normally. It's usually $1,325, which is $53 per round. This season we propose for it to be $1,450, which works out to $58 per round. And there's only 3 other play cards, so I'm going to go through them and tell you what they've been increased by. We have a 15 play card, which is normally $870, which works out to $58 per round. And the 15 play card now will be $63 per round. The 10 play card is normally $600, as in last season. This season we propose for it to be $650, which for 10 rounds of golf works out at $65 a round. And then down to the very basic 5 card. Last season was $325. This season will be $350, which works out to $65 per round. So those are the proposed green fee increases and the proposed play card fees increases. As we know, unfortunately, we know for sure that there's going to be no celebration of golf this season. However, Greg and I sat down and tried to think of something that we could come up with, and we decided that when a resident buys an annual membership from either of the pro shops, they will receive a certificate for 1 free round of golf at Cottonwood or Palo Verde. That is our proposal.
Because on the 10 play card, there's a typo, that should be $650, correct? That's $600.
Yes.
And so the 5 play card,
5 play card.
To make sure that I understand that. So on the 10 play card, that should be $650.
Should be $650, yes.
and the 5 is $350.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that one.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
You said the right things, we just hear that on
Okay. Well, hopefully everybody was listening at home. Hi, everybody at home.
Okay, I need to ask a question here, or bring it up.
Yes, Mr. Beagle.
This is a paragraph here that the people at home cannot read, but will see. All annual golf memberships may be purchased with a credit card. Charges would, of course, apply. Auto debit, available again this year, must be purchased prior to December 9th. So you're keeping the same payment option for annual members.
Yes, we will. The December the 9th date might change within, it might not be exactly on December the 9th, but we will, if the proposed annual fees are accepted and you approve them, then we will go through the same. The combination membership, $1,965. The down payment will be $965, and then equal payments of $200 after that.
Now, board members, are anybody that have questions or comments? You go right ahead, Don Hicks.
Yes.
Away with the 25, 15, 10, and 5 play cards. We didn't have them last year. We folded those right into annual green fees and daily fees.
Yeah, we still had the play cards, but the revenues from those play cards went directly into green fees.
And the same thing's gonna happen this year.
That is correct, yes.
My second question is, how many annuals have you based it on?
Got that information just here. Last year, the total figures for combination memberships was $674 phase 2 and 78 for 1 and 3 combinations. This year, phase 2 combinations, we have budgeted for 577, and the phase 1 and 3 combinations 74.
Can you give me those again, please?
Yes, phase 2 combinations at the proposed figure of 1965, 577.
No, 2020.
Oh, 2020?
Yeah,
This year or last year? Last year, 674. The total combination memberships sold for last season was 674 phase 2 and 78 phase 1 and 3.
which covers this year.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
How many?
674.
74.
Yep.
And you're proposing how many?
577 for the phase 2 combinations and 74 for the phase 1 and 3 combinations.
So you're assuming 93, you'll sell 93 less. Is that
I'm not assuming anything really. The way that we worked that figure out was we're probably, possibly, looking at none of the Canadian members coming back this season. I mean, at the moment, what we have to do is we have to look at the situation actually at this moment. And if we started our annual membership tomorrow, none of those Canadian members would come. And that's 69 and 5 for Palo Verde, so that's 74 total. And I'm looking, we have to consider the possibility that there will be other annual members from last season that will not return to Sun Lakes for their annual memberships. We have to sort of not guess, but try and have a reasonable amount that we would say would not be coming back, and that would be 5% of the rest of the population. So that would be 97 total. Yes, I mean, quite. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But like I say, at the moment, and how it would be if we started our annual membership tomorrow, then those Canadians and 5% of the patients would probably not be coming back to join as annual members.
I understand.
It would be not right of me to pretend that everything was ripe and rosy and that everybody that was an annual membership last year would be returning this year. That would be irresponsible of me, budgetary-wise, to decide that. So it may seem like a fairly arbitrary figure, but it's not an unreasonable fact just looking at the Canadians.
Well, 97 combos is a pile of money. That's about $180,000. Is that enough? If you reduce enough, and the reason I ask that question is since 2013, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, those 7 years, you've only broke even or was under budget one time out of all those years. And I'm worried that you're not taking into account enough, because each year you're going further and further behind. Like this year.
This year, as far as my numbers were
Now,
concerned.
hang on a minute.
Okay.
Don't try to double shuffle me.
Don't try and what?
Double shuffle me.
I don't think I'm a double shuffle sort of guy, Mr. Hicks.
I'm just saying.
Whatever that might mean,
Just slow down.
I have no idea what double shuffle means, but
Just slow down and answer
well, that
the question.
certainly does not reflect on me or my personality, whatever that may be.
Are you finished?
Yes, sorry,
Okay.
thank you.
Through August of this year, you're $80,000 in the hole on revenue. 25 of that I can understand, and that's golf sales. If the people aren't here, you're not gonna sell it. But you're 17,000 in the hole on daily green fees, 28.5 in the hole, no, 28.5 in the hole on dailies, 17,240 on annuals. 10,000 in the hole on driving range income. Now that's on a good year where there's no COVID, so we don't have to shuffle the numbers or try to gaze into a crystal ball. So it appears to me that historically you're over budgeting for revenue. And I'm worried that you're doing the same thing.
I totally see where you're coming from. I could possibly be overdoing the revenues this year. If I don't have 250 annual members come back and join, then I'll be 250 down. If I don't have 400 annual members, if I have nobody come back, which that could possibly be, I have no idea with the situation with the health aspects of the community. I may have nobody come back and join as an annual member.
Well, aren't we fairly certain that we're not gonna get the Canadians back?
There is nothing fairly certain about anything at the moment.
For the most part, Don, to answer that question, they can't cross the border now. They come back maybe really late in the season, and they're not going to sell annuals to people.
No.
But as of the moment, like I say, I think with the situation that within any community across the country, the only time that you can really look at is now. As of now, if our annual membership started tomorrow, then the Canadians would not be coming back, which is a total of 69 combos and 5 for Palo Verde. But as you say, I have no idea what the health situation of any community in the US or North America will be in 5 weeks' time. So I could be totally overdoing the revenues or completely underdoing the revenues. I have no idea. But there is certain factors that we can consider, that there is a COVID problem at the moment in the US and North America, and that those 69 Canadians would not return tomorrow, and probably a number of the other annual members that were members last year that live in other parts of North America may not come back either. So I have to it's not an arbitrary figure, but I have to try and work out some sort of numbers. And those are the numbers at the moment, that if the annual membership started tomorrow, 69 Canadians that had combos would not be returning, and neither would the 5 or 6 Palo Verde members, and maybe a certain percentage of everybody else that lives around North America wouldn't be returning either. But again, it's not arbitrary, but it's certainly not accurate.
So you think the 93,
97.
97, you think the 97 covers them?
As far as I can tell, yeah. I wish I had contact with somebody that had better information on it than myself. I don't think there is anybody that does have any better information on it than anybody that's in this room at the moment. So again, it's not an arbitrary figure, but we have to we're trying to do a budget, so we have to try and work out some sort of number. And as of tomorrow, if our annual membership started tomorrow, those 74 Canadians would not be able to return even given the choice. And maybe a certain percentage of the rest of the country who knows? I mean, there's so many scenarios about what could happen and what may not happen. I don't know, maybe the people that are in North America at the moment that normally come back in early December decide that maybe they'll stay at home for Christmas and New Year this year and try and come back in January. And then when we get to January, there's a reinitiation of the COVID-19 figures all over the country. So then they wouldn't come back at all. So there is a scenario where you could have 0 annual members. And there is a scenario where you could have more annual members than we had last year.
Just so it's clear in my mind, for budgeting purposes, next year, have you dropped all the Canadians that would normally buy annuals?
That's correct, 69 Canadians.
Okay.
69 Canadians that have buy combos, and the 5, I can't remember, is it 5 or 6 for the Ballard? 5.
And your proposed increase will take up for them?
No,
No.
when I did, this,
So what you're telling me is the budget you set up, you intend to be in the red at the end of the year.
no, I
If you don't get,
no, I don't, as I just said, it's impossible for me to say whether we'll be in the red or the black in 6 weeks' time or 6 months' time. It's impossible for me to say. However, but when you do a budget, you've got to presume to, get some sort of number so that you can get a budget in. I mean, I could have done a budget where there was 0 revenue, because we've got 0 annual members coming back, and we'll be selling 0 hard goods and 0 soft goods because COVID-19 is now stopping people from buying annual memberships.
that's really reaching though. I mean, we
Is it?
all know that's not gonna happen.
So what were you said 9 months ago?
Zero annuals, we know ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but 9 months ago, what would you have said to me?
9 months ago was history. We're looking
Exactly.
forward, we're not looking back.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's why I've done the budget.
Looking forward, you know that people that live here year round are gonna buy either annuals or they're gonna buy
Mr.
something.
Hicks, I know nothing. I've worked all of us, we've worked the whole way through the whole of the summer. I know nothing. I don't know. All I know is what's happening today. I don't even know what's going to be happening tomorrow. I don't know what's going to be happening tonight when I get home. And I think everybody in this room would appreciate that too. I don't know what's going to be happening in 3 months' time. However, because it's my responsibility to do a budget, then I have to estimate what we may do.
Well, if you don't know what's gonna happen in the future, I fail to see how you're gonna even try to put a budget together.
Well, that goes for any year.
But let's leave that aside for a moment.
That would go for any year, Mr. Hicks. I can't see the future in
Let's
any
leave
year.
that aside for the moment, and it won't go for every year. Yes, you know that and I know that. If that was true, nobody can do a budget, period.
That's what I just said.
Let's go back to the last 6 out of the 7 years. It's trends that I look at.
Me too.
In 6 out of 7 years, if your annuals and your 25 punches, you can't at least break even, then I worry about we're overstating our income, and I believe we have been. Do you think we're overstating our income in this budget?
For this budget, I'm just going to repeat exactly what I just told you. How can I tell whether I am overstating or understating a budget when I have no idea what's going to be going on? I can go by the numbers. I can have a look at the previous 12 years, and that's what I've done through my budget.
Thank you. We're not getting anywhere, so we might as well thank each other and go ahead. Go
Thank you,
forward.
Mr. Hicks. Thank you for your interest and your input.
Is there any other questions by the board members? Any clarifications?
No, Desmond, with the pressure that's on revenues, I mean, we know this because of the Canadians, we're pretty sure they're not coming back, at least in 2021. But with the pressure on revenues, I'd like you and Greg to consider not 9 whole memberships, where everything in here is an 18-hole membership, except for the Lady Niners. But just give some consideration to, hey, we may have a small revenue stream here for offering 9 whole annuals where folks, because of age, interest, whatever, haven't, might be interested in saying, hey, yeah, 9 holes is appealing to me.
It's certainly a proposal that we could consider for the
Yeah, I
future.
would, and it's not like you charge them half of what you're charging the annuals for 18
No,
holes.
like I say, it's certainly, if you want to bring it up with Greg and
Yeah,
I,
I
and sit
think
down and
that's
talk,
good.
that would be something for the future that we could definitely consider.
I would like you to consider that. I think it'd be helpful and it would certainly hope, then you could track it and see how many are purchased, and if it had a negative impact on your 18-hole annuals. But it's worth a try. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, any constructive idea is always, we're going to try.
All right, if the board has nothing,
I have a question, Ari.
you do? No, I didn't see your pan. I'm sorry, Ari.
Okay, tell me if this is right now, because I'm new. Okay, so I want to know how you came up with the gender day only increase.
Yeah, it's not a mislabel because last year we had gender day only memberships for Saturdays, which included the men and the ladies. And those memberships were actually not feasible. There was only 2 or 3 people that took those upon themselves. So the only one that is left now is the Lady Niners. So what we did with the Lady Niners is about 3-4 years ago, we did a very low introductory annual membership of $350. Increased it a little bit after that. Last year it was supposed to go up to $475, but I had discussions with the Lady Niners and we left it for the original fee, and we were going to raise it for this year. And $600 is after we looked at how many times the Lady Niners play, what the green fee is for that day. That figure came to, we thought was a reasonable amount. In fact, we were looking at a higher figure because it works out if you're a Lady Niner and you play 29 days over the year at that green fee rate, it comes out to $1,305. And we're only charging $600 if we had a lady that came along that played on the 29 days, which is, it can be quite a few. There's a possibility of that, then that would be, it's a fair amount for their Niners membership and how many times they could play for a year.
Okay, so you're going to balance that fairness against how many who might not come back because the fee is much higher.
I'm sorry?
You're going to balance that fairness. I hear you saying that it's a fair fee. Okay, and I'm not arguing that. But what if people don't come back? What if women don't come back because it's 60% higher?
We have 59 ladies that took advantage of the Lady Niners membership last year.
Okay.
And this was not because we sat down and had a meeting with her. Again, we try not to do anything. We don't do anything arbitrary. We don't just sit down together and just make a decision as to what we should do and then tell people. I mean, the Lady Niners had an option this year of it being a lower annual membership because the Lady Niners get the benefits that go with being a Lady Niner are quite high. Like if you have a new Lady Niner that comes along that she's thinking about playing with the Lady Niners, we don't charge them a green fee that first time. And that can be as many as 30 or 40 a season that would like to join the Niners but have not decided. Also for their member guest, the guest that goes to the Lady Niners, that goes with the Lady Niners and plays in that event, does not pay a green fee. So there's a number of benefits that the Lady Niners get that you can't physically see in the amount that is charged. So they did have an option this year of deciding their own fate as to what their annual membership could be.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
One last question is,
Yes, Mr. Hicks.
I understood you to say that the annuals for next year included driving range privileges.
That's correct, yes.
Does that mean they can use the driving range and no additional cost over and above the annual fee.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So that's $50 that you charged last year,
That's correct, yeah.
that you won't be charging this year, that's in,
That's already in, so it's getting charged.
thank
But
you.
now it's 100%. I think last year what happened was around, I think it was like 68% of the annual combo members and some of the Palo Verde members opted to pay the extra $50 for the range. When they did sign up for their annual memberships last year, as a courtesy, as trying not to be arbitrary, last year we gave people the option of buying the range or not buying the range. And it's such a good deal that you would have thought that 100% maybe would have done it, but only 70% did. But this year, as those members that didn't take the opportunity to pay the $50 were told last year when they bought their annual membership that it would be in their annual membership this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Des Gay has a question for you.
Yes,
Actually, I
ma'am.
have two. What you and Don were just talking about as far as for the range fee,
Mhm.
that's just included with the combo, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. For the Palo Verde only, they pay the additional $50.
Yes.
Okay, one other quick question. You talked about the celebration of golf. Of
Yes.
course, we can't have that. Now, can you explain again real quickly what you said that would be in place for people rather than the celebration of golf that you're thinking about?
I don't think it's directly a replacement for a celebration of golf, but it is one reason why Greg and I would like to, and I think it's a better time actually than doing it, that if somebody buys an annual membership, a combination or a Palo Verde, they will get a free round of golf because they bought an annual membership.
Got it.
And that's absolutely nothing to do with the fact that we've raised the annual memberships. It's got nothing to do with that at all. Greg and I just thought it would be a good opportunity to return to our members something, of value to them. And something of value would be able to invite a friend or a relative to come and play on their course free of charge with the free certificate that they get for buying an annual membership.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, hearing no other comments? Nothing else? Desmond, we appreciate you and Greg's efforts for presenting this to the board. This will go on to our next board meeting and we'll vote on it.
We both appreciate the opportunity for you to let us come here and
Great.
try and explain to what we're doing. And thank you very much, and everybody stay safe. Thank
Okay,
you.
stay safe. Okay. That concludes our golf rate workshop meeting. So we will now sign off. For those of you at home listening on live stream, if you would like to